Jabin, my name is Thanmori Soundarajan, and I'm Executive Director of Equality Labs. And I'm so honored to be here to invite you and to welcome you to Radical Rhythms, a global concert for caste equity. Now, this concert has its roots in some deep, painful moments, right? You know, we came here because I faced casteist and bigoted disinformation that led to me being deplatformed from Google, and also led to Google retaliating against worker champion and workers' rights advocates Tanuja Gupta, who basically put it all on the line to stand with Dalit peoples and face the repercussions from the company. And I think that that was a moment that we really could have taken as a loss and been afraid to build power. But I think what I've been so heartened by has been that every single worker and caste oppressed person and ally has refused to take that incredible act of discrimination by Google sitting down. And in fact, we are here today because this concert represents a historic gathering where tech workers are holding hands with Dalit artists and organizations saying we will not allow caste discrimination in American corporations any longer. And in fact, we are going to stand up to abolish and annihilate caste everywhere that it might exist. And to see that powerful act of material solidarity between workers around the world and caste oppressed peoples, well, this is what it is to be able to build a global movement to take down caste. And this really matters to me as someone who is a Dalit organizer, a DEI practitioner, and an artist, and someone who watched my parents struggle with caste their whole lives. I mean, my dad was in the closet until he was 74. And I can't tell you what it's like to watch your parents diminish themselves because they are worried about what being out means. No family should have to live in the closet because of their caste or any other, special category that they might be a part of. And this is why it is so moving to see workers from so many different sectors stand together with my people. And for workers that want to know, let me just assure you, caste is most definitely a workers' rights issue. There are many, many cases in the United States alone that show the kind of abuse that Dalit workers face in workplaces across many sectors. One of the first cases that I knew of was in the year 2000, where a landlord named Lucky Bali Reddy, who was one of the second largest landlords in the city of Berkeley, trafficked over 200 Dalit workers, including 13 Dalit young girls who were his sex slaves, to work his buildings. And he thought he could get away with it because it's what he was used to doing back home in our home countries in India. And luckily, workers organized, the community mobilized, and we were able to get him convicted. And it's one of the first cases where a casteist landlord and trafficker was convicted for his discrimination and workplace failures. So this is what happens when we mobilize as a community. And now where we are at this moment in time is there is so many Dalit workers around the world that they're standing up. Here in Tamil Nadu, we have the Justice for Jayshree movement, which was led by Tamil textile workers, Dalit women, who stood up for one of their sisters who couldn't handle the level of sexual harassment and unsafety inside of the workplace and took her own life. And as a result, they fought and they mobilized in order to create not just a safer workplace for them, but held multinational corporations to create safer conditions for all garment workers inside of their supply chains. We also saw in the year 2000, the historic Cisco case, where the state of California is suing an American corporation, the Cisco Corporation, for the first time for a casteist hostile workplace. And outside of tech, we see the Baptist Temple case, where Dalit workers from across 5 different religious institutions are openly breaking the silence about the kind of wage theft and torturous experiences they faced as they were paid just a little over $1 an hour to do backbreaking labor to build these religious institutions. There is no question that caste is here. It's around the world. It's in our supply chains. And we must enforce the rule of law wherever South Asians are. Because again, South Asians bring caste wherever they go. So in the United States, we know that 1 out of 4 Dalits experience physical and verbal assault. 1 out of 3 discrimination in their educational settings, and 2 out of 3 discrimination in their workplaces. And that's why we're here. We don't want this level of unsafety, discrimination, and sexual harassment to be happening in any workplace. And even if corporations think they're above the law, they're not above worker and Dalit power. And that's why we're here. Because when we are unified as a joint movement, there is nothing that can stop us. So again, I want to thank all of the artists that have contributed their heart and their stories to us here today. Because the one thing that has sustained caste oppressed people over the centuries of our oppression, it is our culture, it is our music, it is our food, it is our lives, it is each other. And so what you're going to hear is Dalit artists, many of whom are making their North American debut, coming forward and sharing the best of what we can offer as a community in terms of resistance and resilience and inspiration. So, for all those who are watching, we know that there are going to be debrief sessions with many unions across the United States, and we look forward to those conversations, and we want you to ask all the questions, because we know that when we are in material solidarity, all of us will win. So again, I want to thank not only just the artists, but all of the collaborating organizations, from the kick-ass, artists and producers at Neelam Cultural Center, to Ambedkar Association of North America, to the amazing Alphabet Workers Union. We could not have done this if we weren't all holding hands together. And I also want to thank you who's listening at home. We know that you guys have many things that you can do with your time, but to take this moment to build that connection through Dalit art between you and where you are at with our people, it just means the world to us. And in that spirit, I also wanted to share with you the song that I'm going to be submitting to the concert, which is a remix of Bob Marley's Redemption Song. And for folks who don't know who Bob Marley is, he is this titan of Black liberation music from the reggae tradition. And I grew up with Bob, that's who I kind of learned to appreciate music, and also how music can be a fuel for movement was through his music. And so, in a commitment not only to his legacy and how much I owe to him, but also how his words spoke to me about the pain of Brahmanism and the hope of our possibility as a people when we are united, I decided to remix his song. And so what you're listening to is going to be a caste abolition remix that I put together. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you enjoy all of this concert. And I know that just this small little moment that we have with each other is a potential of what our powerful global movement looks like. And so I know that just feeling the love and the empathy and compassion that we all have together, I know that we're going to win. So I'm sending you so much love to all of the places and spaces that you might be in. And, again, close my session with you with our greeting that we always have in Dalit spaces, which is that of Jai Bhim. And when we salute each other in Jai Bhim, it's a salutation of justice and possibility that comes from evoking our powerful leader, Dr. Ambedkar, who was this figure of Dalit independence, who basically shared so much of all of the things that we could be when we abolish caste. And so in his name and in the spirit of who we can be when we are free from all systems of exclusion, I say to you, Jai Bhim, with my full heart, and I say to you, we are going to win. So thank you again, and enjoy the concert. Bye, everyone.